Thank you for being my peer observer. I know the IDP was sent to you, and I'm targeting 3 opportunities. One is to improve my impulse control, to be less reactive. Another is to enhance my problem solving. And a third area is to take appropriate risks to enhance my emotional expression and independence.
Okay, very good. I'm happy to help you with this program, and I have to recognize you for the energy and effort you are putting into improving this aspect of your life. I actually think that I will benefit from this work as well, and I look forward to this journey with you. And by the way, I appreciate the coaching you gave me regarding PERT. Last Friday, I saw you sit back in your chair and practice PERT, and this lets me know that you've been putting a lot of work into mastering PERT. And what I admired most about observing you do this was that you presented me with evidence that you're serious about this initiative, and I could see a change in you almost immediately. Tell me about how you felt using this skill.
Well, first I'd like to say thank you for acknowledging the improvements that you're seeing. I find that it takes my anxiety levels way down. It gives me an opportunity to think through my problems rather than emote through challenges. I simply see more clearly.
Okay, good. And you were asked to do a thought record 2 or 3 times a week. This is an aspect of your IDP that I did not observe directly. So tell me about what you did to use the thought record.
Right. Well, there were 2 that came up. One was concerning a bank and my administrator and our bank balance, and the other was picking up my daughter or so, I thought, from soccer practice. In the first instance, I had asked my administrator to write out a few checks, but I noticed that the bank statement balance was still high. And rather than approach her, I decided to look at the bank statement, and I saw, in fact, that the checks were written. They just hadn't cleared the account because it was a bank holiday. So that got resolved. In the second instance, I was to pick up my daughter from soccer practice, or so I thought, and she wasn't there. And I had taken the time off from work, and I saw that I was getting a little anxious. So I thought, well, this is a good opportunity to practice the thought record. So I looked at the date, and it was correct in my phone, but when I looked at the original information from where I got it into my phone, it was really the next day. So I had the wrong date. So I took the opportunity to go back to work to finish some things, and I got home only a half hour late for dinner, so that got resolved.
Oh, very good. It's very good that it worked out well. And did you notice where your self-talk got in your way of staying calm? Tell me about one time.
Well, you know I'm in sales, and there's a particular prospect who I know can use our services, and I was starting to feel the doubt that he may be interested in making a large order for services that we really can supply that would greatly enhance their profits. So what I did was practice. I role played, and I visualized him being very interested in what we had to say and actually seeing him become a client. So I had walked in, and I told him that I was very happy to be there and I'd like him to become a client of ours. And it turns out that he had spoken to 3 competitors who are already doing business with us, and he wanted to get started as soon as possible. So I made the sale.
Congratulations. And did you take time to visualize success as outlined in the book, Stress-Free for Good?
You know, this is an area on which I would like to practice more. I find that when I do envision how I'd like the outcome to go, it actually works out better for me, because I notice when I don't do this, there's a tendency to fall back into my former thought patterns. But when I practice it, I have such a great outcome.
Excellent. I saw you close your eyes the other day while relaxing and taking deep breaths. Is this what you were doing, and how did it help you?
Yes, when you saw me, I was doing some deep breathing exercises. I had so many challenges that day. I decided that I needed to separate my challenges from my real self. So I focused on my loved ones. And I had such a sense of gratitude for what I do have. And in focusing on what I was so grateful for, I know that it had nothing to do with money and material things.
Very good. And did you ask others for advice before making a difficult decision? And what was the outcome?
That's an area in which I could use more coaching as well. I know that when I don't ask for advice, I have a tendency to make decisions as if in a vacuum. However, when I do ask for advice, I know that with practice and greater focus, I'll have a greater outcome.
Excellent. Well, that wraps up our feedback session today. I want to thank you very much for your honesty. And when we had our peer observer training, we were told that during the early stages of the program, you might get a little discouraged. I want to be a good cheerleader for you and encourage you to consider all the positive steps that you've already taken and remember them. Keep your IDP handy and read it daily to remind yourself of the growth opportunities that will present themselves to you, and be aware that you'll be able to meet the upcoming challenges.
I'd like to thank you for being my peer observer. This work is very important to me, as is the IDP. I see what a great impact it has already made on my life. Thank you.
You're very welcome.